Close your eyes for a second. December 18, 2022. It's past midnight in Lusail, Qatar. 88,000 people are losing their minds. Lionel Messi, the greatest footballer who ever drew breath, is on his knees, crying like a child, like a man who just escaped a sentence he'd been serving his whole life. And somewhere, 1 billion people watching on screens are crying too, not because they're fans of Argentina, but because they witnessed something that felt bigger than football. That was Qatar 2022, a tournament so perfect it felt like football's final statement, like the sport had peaked, like nothing could ever top it. They were wrong. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why World Cup 2026 isn't just bigger than Qatar. It's a completely different universe. And by the end, I promise you, you will be more ready for this summer than anything in your life. Let's go. Qatar, the entire country, every stadium, every fan zone, fits inside an area roughly the size of Connecticut. You could drive from one end of the 2022 World Cup to the other in under an hour. Some fans watched 2 games in a single day. Qatar was the smallest country in history to ever host this tournament, and that made it feel intimate, almost magical. Now here is 2026. 3 countries, 16 cities, the United States, Canada, Mexico, a combined territory of nearly 500 million square kilometers, 43,000 times the size of Qatar. Fans will fly between host cities. Matchups will play out in different time zones on the same day. Los Angeles while Toronto wakes up, Mexico City while Miami goes to sleep. This isn't a football tournament anymore. This is a civilization-wide event. New York, LA, Dallas, Miami, Boston, cities that eat Super Bowls for breakfast, and now they're getting football. Qatar was a moment, a beautiful, contained, breathtaking moment. 2026 is a movement spread across an entire continent. What was the best moment of Qatar 2022 for you? Was it Messi finally winning? Was it Morocco, a team nobody gave a prayer, reaching the semifinals, making an entire continent weep with pride? Was it Saudi Arabia, ranked 51st in the world, dismantling Argentina in one of the greatest upsets this sport has ever seen? Those moments didn't happen because football was predictable. They happened because football is chaos. Beautiful, merciless, glorious chaos. Qatar had 32 teams, the same number since 1998, untouched for 24 years. World Cup 2026 blows it apart. 48 teams, 16 more nations on the biggest stage football has ever built. Countries where just qualifying is celebrated like winning the tournament itself. 16 more Saudi Arabias waiting to happen. 16 more Moroccos. 16 more stories nobody saw coming. 104 total games, 40 more matches than Qatar. And the brutal twist, the 8 best third-place teams also advance. Every group game is a knife fight with everything on the line. No dead rubbers, no safe games, no nights off. Just 104 matches of pure, unfiltered football warfare. Qatar did something extraordinary. They built 7 stadiums from zero. Air conditioning, pumping refrigerated air into every seat. Artificial clouds, solar-powered floating structures to block the desert sun. They built Stadium 974 from 974 shipping containers, used it, then dismantled it completely. Gone, as if it never existed. Qatar's engineering was pure science fiction. But here's what science fiction cannot do. It cannot give you 94,000 human beings in one room. AT&T Stadium in Dallas, known as the Death Star, is the largest NFL stadium on the planet. 94,000 seats. When that crowd comes alive for a World Cup knockout game, there is no building on earth that can match it. Arrowhead Stadium, Kansas City. This venue holds a Guinness World Record, the loudest crowd roar ever measured at any sports venue in the world. 142.2 decibels, louder than a military jet at full thrust. You don't just hear it, you feel it in your chest, in your teeth. MetLife Stadium, New Jersey. This is where the 2026 World Cup final will be played. In Qatar, the final felt like a jewel box, beautiful, intimate, perfect. In 2026, the final will be played where the noise alone can change the outcome. These aren't stadiums, they are amplifiers for human madness. Now, I have to tell you something most football content won't touch. Before a single fan walked into a Qatar stadium, an investigation found that at least 6,500 migrant workers had died during the decade of construction that made the tournament possible. Young men from Nepal, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan. Some were fathers. They came for wages to send home. They died in 50-degree heat. Deaths listed as cardiac arrest, natural causes, unexplained, uninvestigated. Families left without answers. FIFA eventually admitted it bore responsibility. The tournament happened. The football was magnificent. The world cheered. That tension between the beauty on the pitch and the cost of building it never fully went away. World Cup 2026 required zero new stadium construction. Every venue already existed, already loved. No desert, no labor camps, no cities built from nothing. Qatar was a tournament the world will never forget in more ways than one. 2026 steps onto a foundation that didn't ask anyone to die for it. Qatar 2022 cost $220 billion to host, the most expensive sporting event in human history. They built a city, Lusail, from sand just to host the final. Meanwhile, 2026 is projected to generate $11 billion in revenue, a 47% jump over Qatar. Prize money, $565 million, 50% more than 2022. Win the whole thing and your nation walks away with $50 million. The match day revenue from 2026 alone could equal the combined earnings of the previous 6 World Cups. Qatar spent a fortune and built a monument. 2026 will generate a fortune and build a legacy. Everything I've told you, the 48 teams, the monster stadiums, the $11 billion, the 104 games, all of it is extraordinary. But none of it is why 2026 will be the most emotionally devastating World Cup in history. This is why. Lionel Messi, 39 years old, he already won. In Qatar, when he held that trophy, wrapped in a golden bisht, eyes full of tears, the 20-year argument was over. Nothing left to prove. And yet here he is, one more time. Not because he has to be, because football is the only language he's ever truly spoken. 2026 is his last World Cup. He confirmed it. He knows it. We all know it. Cristiano Ronaldo, 41 years old, the man who refuses to be human, still scoring, still training harder than players half his age, still carrying a fire that has never, in 20 years, gone out. He has never won a World Cup, never even scored in a knockout match, and he confirmed it. Definitely yes, this is his final tournament. These two men have played at the absolute pinnacle of the game since 2006, 20 years. 5 World Cups each, a debate that split families, friendships, entire nations. And in the summer of 2026, they will share a World Cup pitch for the last time in human history. There will never be another Messi, There will never be another Ronaldo. There will never be another debate like this one. It ends here in 2026. This is not just a football tournament. This is the closing chapter of the greatest story the sport has ever told. When the final whistle blows on July 19th, when one nation lifts that trophy into the North American sky, an era ends, and you will either have watched it or you'll spend the rest of your life wishing you had. Qatar 2022 was lightning in a bottle, but 2026? 48 nations, 16 cities, 3 countries, 104 matches, the loudest stadiums on the planet, the greatest prize money ever, and the final farewell of the 2 most iconic footballers who ever lived. Qatar was perfect. 2026 will be eternal, and it starts now. If this gave you chills, you know what to do. Subscribe, hit the bell. Every video on this channel hits exactly like this. World Cup 2026. We cover every moment. See you there.